This is 15 events happening in 1850 to 1875. KKK. The Ku Klux Klan, commonly called the KKK or simply the Klan, refers to three distinct secret movements at different points in time in the history of the United States. They would often try to do big attacks on people against what they believed in. 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, an amendment to the U.S. Constitution ratified in 1868, defining national citizenship and forbidding the states to restrict the basic rights of citizens or other person. 15th Amendment. The 15th Amendment to the Constitution granted African American men the right to vote by declaring that the right of the citizens of the United States to vote shall not be divided or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Great Chicago Fire. The Great Chicago Fire was a conflagration that burned from Sunday, October 8th to Tuesday, October 10th, 1871. The fire killed up to 300 people, destroyed roughly 3.3 square miles of Chicago, Illinois, and left more than 100,000 residents homeless. Yellowstone National Park formed. The Yellowstone National Park is nearly 3,500 square mile wilderness recreation area atop a volcanic hotspot. Mostly in Wyoming, the park spreads into parts of Montana and Idaho too.
The Franco-Prussian War. The Franco-Prussian War, or Franco-German War, often referred to in France as the War of 1870. War as a conflict between the Second French Empire and Napoleon III, and the German states of North German Confederation, led by the Kingdom of Prussia. Civil War. The American Civil War was a civil war that was fought in the United States from 1861 to 1865 as a result of a long-standing controversial over slavery. Standard Oil Company. Standard Oil Company was an American oil producing, transporting, refining, and marketing company established in 1870 by John D. Rockefeller and Henry Flagler as a corporation in Ohio. It was the largest oil refinery in the world of its time. Republican Elephant was formed. Cartoonist Thomas Nast used the Democratic donkey in a newspaper cartoon as made the symbol famous. Nast invented another famous symbol, the Republican elephant, in a cartoon that appeared in Harper's Weekly in 1874. Nast drew the donkey clothed in a lion's skin. Lincoln is elected. The United States presidential election of 1860 was the 19th presidential election to select the president and vice president of the United States. The election was held on Tuesday, November 6, 1860.
In 1862, the Emancipation Proclamation is issued. The Emancipation Proclamation granted freedom to the slaves in the Confederate States if the states did not return to the Union by January 1st, 1863. In addition, under the proclamation, freedom would only come to the slaves if the Union won the war. In 1865, General Lee surrenders. The war ended in spring 1865. Robert E. Lee surrendered the last major Confederate army to Ulysses S. Grant at the courthouse on April 9, 1865. The last battle was fought at Palmito Ranch, Texas, on May 13, 1865. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution declared that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude accepted as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. On the evening of April 14th, John Wilkes Booth, a famous actor and Confederate sympathizer, assassinated President Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. The attack came only 5 days after the Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered his massive army at the courthouse in Virginia, effectively ending the Civil War. 1865, Andrew Jackson becomes president. The United States presidential election of 1828, American presidential election held in 1828, in which Democrat Andrew Jackson defeated National Republican John Quincy Adams.